The portfolio planning document is an extremely important assignment for developing the professional portfolio. We develop the portfolio planning document at the beginning of the course, and you have a couple of weeks to complete it. And please make sure that you take the time to complete this document thoroughly and thoughtfully. The portfolio planning document provides the framework for your professional portfolio, as well as the beginnings of your standards reflection essay. All the information that you will be including in your PPD will be what you will put on your professional portfolio and what you will include in your standards reflection essay. So as you can see, it's a very important document. Please take the time to develop this document, and please, I want you to know that at any time, if you have a question about it or if you would like me to review something, I will be more than happy to help you. In this video, we will go over in great detail directions, instructions, and examples for developing your portfolio planning document. Many students find this activity very hard. Also, many of you have already created the professional growth plan in another class, such as LME 512. The portfolio planning document replaces the professional growth plan because standards for the American Association of School Librarians and the International Standards for Technology Education have changed, and therefore we needed to change this document to meet the new standards. You can use a lot of the information that you included in your professional growth plan, so that time was not wasted. However, the process you use for developing the portfolio planning document is a little bit different. These are the instructions for the portfolio planning document, and we will go over them step by step. The PPD, as we call it, provides the framework for the professional portfolio. Everything that you put on this document is the means by which you will structure your portfolio. Also, the brief statements that you make in this document provide the framework for developing your standards reflection essay. So, by developing and preparing a very well thought out PPD, you will have moved very far along the process of creating a proficient or distinguished professional portfolio. So, it bears a lot of thought for you in terms of making sure that you think about this assignment and giving it your best effort. Now here's step-by-step instructions. First of all, review the standards and standard elements for your concentration area, AASL or ISTE. They're posted in the portfolio area of Blackboard, and they're also found online. Then take a look at the portfolio planning document chart so you can get an idea of what items you will need, such as artifacts, and what kind of rationale you will be required to provide. That will link your activities, standards, and student learning. Then discuss with your cooperating media or technology specialists any kind of projects or activities that you will be planning to engage in during your practicum that would help you meet any of these standards, because they would be very high quality artifacts to include in your portfolio. Also review your critical performances from the LME program to determine if you want to incorporate any of those into your portfolio. You may already be planning to do this, and the critical performances are arranged by standard and standard indicator, so that will help you figure out how all the pieces of your activities as a professional in your schools and as a professional in the program fit together and help you develop your portfolio. Also review any school-based initiatives or programs that you're currently involved in to determine if these meet any of the professional standards and can also be incorporated into your portfolio. Then complete the chart and identify any areas of the chart that are incomplete. and work with your cooperating media technology specialist to plan how you will go about creating experiences and/or artifacts that might meet these standard elements. Here is an example of the PPD chart in general and the sample PPD entry. This is for ISTE standards. Standard 1, Technology, Operations, and Concept, and you can see over on the left is a statement of the standard. Across the top are instructions for what to include in each area of the chart. For assessment evidence, what you need to do is include the name of the proposed artifact, the format of the artifact, and a brief description of what that activity is. So for this example, the student has labeled the artifact Technology Skill Module 5 Advanced Word from LME 535 and a description. This artifact is a document created using advanced features of Microsoft Word. Then in the standard elements area, what you need to do is to read the statement for the standard element and write a brief statement explaining why your chosen artifact is related to that standard element. As an example, this person wrote, "The advanced Word document from LME 535 represents my skills and abilities with Microsoft Office tools, which are part of the school's education technology curriculum. This artifact aligns with Standard Element 1 because it demonstrates my skills and understanding in an important technology application I use with my students." So you can see how the activity and the standards are linked in this chart. The next area of the chart, What Did I Learn? Write a brief description of what you learned from creating and using this artifact or engaging in the activity, and please write this in the first person. So, for example, the student wrote, "I learned from creating this artifact that there are many features of Word that can be used to improve written communication and can be incorporated into lesson activities and projects." And then, most importantly, how has your activity impacted your students' learning? So, write a brief description of how creating the artifact or engaging in the activity and using it with your students helped you to increase student learning. If you've not engaged in any activities with the students at this time, then describe what you expect your students to know and be able to do as a result of engaging in the activity. Again, please write in the first person. So, for example, this student wrote, "Creating this artifact helps me to increase my students' learning because by mastering the skills, knowledge, and understanding of advanced Word features, I can offer my students more tools and methods to complete lesson activities and projects and help them to improve how they use MS Word to communicate their understanding of content." So the link to learning in this case is that helping students to learn advanced features of Word enable to help the students use MS Word to communicate their ideas effectively related to content learning. We expect that for every standard element, there will be a description of the standard, explanation of what you learned, and connections to student learning. So included in this document is a template, and so what you need to do is complete the chart for every standard element and make sure that you include 2 evidences for each standard element, a minimum of 2 evidences for each standard element. So, for example, AASL template has 1.1 all the way through 5.4. And then the ISTE template starts here with standard 1 all the way through standard 5. So if you have questions about going about developing the portfolio planning document, please post your questions to the discussion board. And at any time along the way, if you want me to review your PPD, I will be happy to do so. Remember that the effort that you put into your PPD will most likely result in a a proficient or distinguished portfolio, because once you get this piece put together well, all the pieces of your portfolio will fall together. Thank you very much for listening to this video, and we will talk more about this online.